We'll continue with our discussion on pricing strategies in this video. We were talking about markup pricing in the earlier discussion, that is in the earlier video, and I given an example of what markup pricing is. And in terms of the formula, it might have been a little confusing because I was speaking everything orally. So what I've done is I've added another slide and I've added the formula for markup pricing too. It gives you an idea. So markup pricing, I remember telling you it is always calculated as a percentage. So markup percentage is equal to the retail price minus the cost of the merchandise, that is selling price minus cost price upon the selling price. That gives me an idea of the markup percentage, which or what percentage is the product sold at. So if I want to get to know the retail price, if the retailer already has a markup percentage in mind, then from the same formula I can also get to know at what price should I sell the product. If I'm already saying 10% should be my markup percentage, then I can calculate the retail price again from the same formula, and I can get to see as to what price should I sell the product. Next pricing point we'll look at is break-even pricing. Now, break-even pricing, you're already aware of what break-even point means. You might have come across this multiple times in different subjects, whether it's economics, whether it's finance, management accounting. I don't know how many different subjects you would have come across break-even pricing. It'd be a very repetitive concept, but let's touch upon it again to refresh your memory. Now, what is break-even analysis or analysis that is done? We're not looking at any graphs or anything like that here. Right now, we just understand the basic concept. The idea is, look, you basically calculate break-even on the fixed cost as well as your variable cost. That's it. And you have the sales price also as part of the formula for your break-even quantity. So the idea is to understand, when you're trying to understand the break-even quantity, we're looking at how much percentage or how much quantity, not percentage, sorry, that a product or a merchandise or units need to be sold to achieve a break-even profit. You need to reach that. The idea is, it's like this. I have set up a business. I'm selling products. Okay. And I need to know at what point am I going to reach a point where there is no profit or no loss, because I need to know, the company needs to know the level of sales needed to cover all my fixed and variable costs that I have taken so far into developing the product. And when I sell the product, I need to reach a point where there is no profit, no loss. So, what is the level of sales which will determine that? What is the amount or the quantity that I need to sell? It will determine that. Because beyond that, whatever I sell beyond that is going to be profitable. That's what break-even point is. Where am I going to break even? Anything above that is a profitable sale. So the break-even point quantity is the quantity at which the total revenue equals total cost, and then profit occurs for additional sales. For example, if we're looking at fixed cost, just an example, at 200,000 and variable cost per unit as 15, selling price at 20 rupees. In this case, the company, what does it need to sell? We can get to know from this formula, and it needs to sell 40,000 units before it tries to break even the fixed cost. And then at least 40,000 units need to be sold for it to be profitable. Beyond that, the 40,000 units, and then the 41th, no, not 41, 40,001 unit will be the profitable unit that it makes after this break-even point. Simple as that. Now, how does this again further help a retailer? If he tries to reduce the sales price, or if he tries to increase the sale price, he'll get to know the impact or effect of that. If I reduce the sales price, what is the quantity that I need to sell to again break even? So that difference in the quantity, I used to sell say 40,000 units earlier. If I reduce my sales price, I'm obviously going to be selling more number of units. What is that extra number of units that I need to be selling in order to break even again? That is what break-even quantity, in a very logical manner, explains to you how important it is for a retailer for setting prices. So if he is trying to just if he is selling at in here, what is the selling price? Okay, 20 rupees. If he wants to sell at 18 rupees, he can't just take that decision directly. What he will do a break-even analysis. I'm going to sell at 18 rupees. At 20 rupees, I sold 40,000 units to break even. At 18 rupees, what will I need to sell? Again, we can put it in the formula, we can get to know the units. It will somewhere come a little bit more, probably 46,000 units or maybe 48,000 units. Based on, you can do the calculation, you'll get to know what is the units that he needs to sell to break even again. It's definitely going to be more. If we increase the sale price, you'll have to sell less. That's it. Target return pricing. Now, target return pricing again. I won't go in depth. The idea is simple. The idea is again there is a formula. The retail price, what it tries to do, it tries to achieve some kind of ROI. So achieve a particular return on. Remember when we had looked at factors of influencing the pricing. This is what the technique which is used when ROI pricing is done. So you will look at your total. There's a formula where you look at your total investment. You look at what kind of ROI do you need, what percentage of ROI, 10%, 20%, 30% ROI. You will take your total cost. You will take your total expected sales. Then you'll try to look at your target return price. The target return price will be a formula which will include your desired ROI percentage, your total investment, your total cost, as well as total expected sales, and you'll return and that particular target return price. So you know that is the target return price at which your price will exceed all your cost and it will contribute to your profit. That is the idea. The next concept is competition. From here onwards, it becomes a little simpler. Demand-oriented pricing anyway or simple. Cost-oriented pricing is a little not tricky, where you have to deal with not formulas, but the idea is to take a call as to what am I going to go with. Okay, but cost-oriented pricing is very important. Everything else is more of a creative, psychological, market-orient, everything that has some kind of inputs that come from other parameters, other variables. But cost-oriented is more in your control. It's more about how you try to play around with it. The competition, in terms of the competition, what would you actually do in here? The primary thing that you would do is look at the competitors' parity. So, two ways of doing the competition-oriented pricing: competitors' parity as well as discount pricing. When you talk about competitors' parity, you set the price as close to the competitor's price. Simple. When you're talking about discount pricing, it's priced at a lower cost than the competitor's price. I mean, you are not good as your competitor. Your product is really not good as your competitor. How do you beat the competitor? Sell it at a low price. Otherwise, if you think your product is a good amount of competition to the competitor, then sell it at a very competitive segment price. Generally, the car makers do this. They sell it at prices which are very competitive. Somehow they will try to add some features. They'll add some features later additionally. So when a car buyer has to go to purchase cars and he looks at the same segment, he's always confused. He does not know what to do, which one to buy because they're always competitively priced. Differential pricing strategy would be the next strategy where you look at customer segment pricing. This is very simple. This would vary based on the customer segments. Now, if your customer is purchasing online, you would charge them less as the cost of service also is less for you. And if you are trying to sell it to an offline customer, you would charge him more. So that's just the benefit that you're giving the customer purchase online because that's saving transportation, not transportation, sorry, saving some other kind of cost for you so that you can give him the benefit of you know also give him an ease of buying but also save your servicing cost. Time pricing. Time again based on generally this pricing would come in transportation services or hospitality services. If you are a resort and you're trying to charge off-season rates, during season rates, or if you try to book a resort now and you try to, sorry, now it will be a very high cost because this is year end. If you try to book a resort at any other pricing, right, then the pricing would be much lesser than the pricing that you would get at this point. So the package pricing of your resort will also vary based on the time of day. This also is applicable to railway booking. So if it's a Tatkal booking, then it's much costly. But if you try to book a railway or a flight like 3 4 months in advance, then you will get it for a much lower price, especially flights. Location pricing. Now, location depends on where the customer is located. Now, this location is not just in terms of physical location. Of course, if you're in a metro, you have good affluent class, you can have a higher pricing there. You're in a rural area, the pricing would be very different there. Of course, you're not trying to play around with the pricing of your product, but you're trying to play around with the pricing that how do I put it? The kind of discount, the kind of markup, and kind of the additional things that you would add on to your pricing. Uh, Theater is the best example. If you're looking at the front row seats, okay, then that will be charged lesser than as you go balcony, as you go higher up, the prices will vary. So that's also location within the theater. So in fact, even in flight, business class, economy class, first class, etc. That's location pricing. Unethical pricing strategies. Now, there's this concept of predatory pricing, which is followed by some companies, but not an ethical practice, where the large players, okay, the really large players, will price the product at such low value that they try to remove their competitors out of the market. The competitor will face losses. And once the competitor is out of the market, these people, even though the player who reduced the price, he's facing some kind of reduction in his sales volume, in his revenue, but he will do that because he wants the competitor out of the market. And then finally, he will get back to the normal pricing once the competitor is out beaten and out of the market. It's a very negative technique which is used. I think that's all as far as pricing strategy are concerned. I think I missed out one thing. Okay, cost-oriented pricing strategy. I missed out markdown. Markdown, but I covered this concept in one of the classes. The markdown is nothing but just the same as markup. The opposite. You will try to reduce the initial retail price. Okay, and this can work out to be to your advantage or not to your advantage, but that again depends on. You look at it this way: when a brand, it's also how the customers perceive it. Okay, why does a retailer look at markdown? Whether he does a markdown, whether he wants to clear the sale, dispose of his merchandise, or he wants to do it as part of a promotional activity to generate more sales. Okay, that can be why a markdown is done. Okay. Uh, but generally, when a brand lowers its prices, right, during tough times, okay. See, many people believe, as a research, they say 70% of consumers believe that a brand is normally overpriced, okay, and 62% believe the product is old. That means he's reduced it because it's old, it's about to expire, about to be updated. That's why they're just selling it and getting rid of it. But in contrast, when a brand does not lower its prices during difficult times, 64% believe that the product is extremely popular. Okay, and some other section of percentage believe, I don't know the percentage, that the product has a very good value. So it's again also the market situation. You can do a markdown during recession, but if you don't do a markdown, there's also a set of consumers who believe that your product is quality. But there's also a section who may not purchase because you have not provided a markdown or a discount in the price. So that's all I have for the pricing strategies, and this would mark the end of our chapter 7, and we are pretty much finished with the entire portion. So I wanted to finish the portion by year end, and that's it. We're done with the portion, and I hope I should be receiving your answer sheets for internals too by 4:30. Unit 7, we won't be having any kind of internal or revision for that, but I believe you'll go through Unit 7, you'll study it on your own. I would be sharing a lot of additional supplementary study material before your final semester exams. Okay, some really good textbooks I'll share with you all, some ebooks so that it will help you. People who like to read from textbooks and not like to look at the matter that I have supplied as PPTs or additional PDF materials or the videos. You can go through the textbooks. It's the way you study. I'll leave it to you. So thank you so much. We'll have one webinar before your final examinations, one Zoom webinar. I would want all of you all to come onto that webinar. I'll basically schedule that at some point. Okay. Thank you so much. That's the end of your syllabus. This was the final concept.